No.
So we would like to know, but let me start it off like this because I'm recording also, Nicole. So first of all, this is Trans Table Talk episode 11. My special guest with me today is Nicole Sky. We're going to be talking about why is America obsessed with trans bodies. I know a lot of y'all have seen lately in the news about Zaya Wade and everybody having their 2 cents or wanting to put in their 2 cents about her and her transition and what she's doing and not doing with her body. But we're going to have a conversation about it. First and foremost, this program is brought to you by NASEM Incorporated. NASEM is the LGBT plus Q plus organization that has been around for over 30 years, serving the community, specifically the Black community. Specifically work over at the Drop-In Center here in Atlanta. Here you can come get tested for HIV, gonorrhea, chlamydia. We do throat swabs, rectal swabs, and urine samples. You can come over here, take a shower, wash clothes, come hang out. We have a computer lab. We have spaces for you to utilize if you need to practice, house practices, etc. Of course, we have to follow COVID guidelines. So we have a maximum of 10 people that can come into the space. When you come in, you must have on a mask, and you also have to do a COVID-19 disclosure, which will take your temperature. But that is NASEM. We also have a bunch of programs like Ryan White, Hopwa, Safe Harbor that we offer here at NASEM. So if you are needing any of those services, please hit us up here in Atlanta, Georgia. But without further ado, we're going to get into the conversation. So this again, everybody tuning in. This is Nicole Sky, as you can see, and we're going to be talking about today why is America obsessed with trans bodies? Because I would like to know. Would you like to know, Nicole?
I would love to know.
Would y'all like to know who's tuning in? Hello, everybody tuning in. Please, if you can, share it. Share it to your various groups. Share it to your LGBT groups. Share it to your non-LGBT groups because they need the information as well. But that's what we're going to have the conversation about. So first things first, let's go ahead and get into the topic. I feel like there's various ways, Nicole, we can like speak about it. We can speak
Hmm.
about it from a dating perspective. We can speak about it from society's perspective. We can speak about it from even like our close friends and families' perspectives. And first, we're going to start off with society, just to kind of nip this in the bud. Because what I am tired of watching and listening to is people having conversations about trans women specifically, of Black women specifically,
Hmm.
of trans experience, and what we are and are not doing with our bodies, what we are legally able to do with our bodies, and why everybody has such an opinion about what we are and are not doing with our bodies. Now, let's get into the main topic, which will be Zaya Wade. Now, as we all know, Zaya is the daughter of Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union Wade. And she recently, last year, gave her parents permission to speak about her transition. And she was able to give them that permission to go on public platforms to speak about it. So they can really, I mean, at the end of the day, serve as this family, this Black family at that, that's showing, choosing to love and support and affirm their child, choosing to get understanding, to get information so they can be better parents when it comes to parenting her. So they can just even just understand her and the journey that she's about to take, because it's quite a journey. But what I don't like is, and I actually made a video about this like earlier last year, and I posted on my social media and all of that. What I'm really tired of though is people having these conversations about us, and they are not bringing us into the table. They're not bringing one of us onto the platform. Why? Because they want to be ignorant and they want to operate out of ignorance. They don't want one of us to come on that platform and educate them properly so they can leave with an education rather than leaving with ignorance, thriving and existing in ignorance, because that's exactly what they're doing. So, Nicole, I don't know if you recently saw, but we already had the little Boosie situation. We
Hmm.
already, as of recently, we had the Cocktail with Queens or Queens with Cocktails, however that title goes, where specifically Claudia Jordan and Lisa Ray had some interesting things to say. And then as of late, you had the Little Mama conversation with brother Reza. Now, what I find,
So
uh-huh, Go ahead.
So what was the conversation with Lisa Ray and Claudia Jordan? Because I didn't see this one.
So what they did was they brought on to their Queens with Cocktails. They had a show and they spoke about the situation. Well, what they spoke about was when Zaya did that live with Michelle Obama. They spoke about how Michelle Obama is trying to help push this agenda for this, that, and the other, and so they had a conversation about why everybody was so opposed. Because Jay Boog had made a comment about this is an agenda, etc. I don't have the comment with me. It's irrelevant if you ask me, and I'm not here to give people platforms that thrive and live on being irrelevant. I mean, ignorant and irrelevant, but ignorant. And so they were having a conversation, and one thing that I hate that Claudia tends to do a lot is she likes to imply that, oh, she's so young, and what happens if one day she decides, that maybe this isn't for her or that isn't for her. And then Lisa Ray went on to say, well, maybe everybody's making it, about the genitals, because maybe she's too young to change her genitals. Everybody's okay. Oh, go ahead and identify and da-da-da. But when it comes to the genitals, the same thing with Little Boosie. The same thing he just said, and then the same thing with the conversation with Little Mama and the man, whatever. But what's so interesting to me, Nicole, is every time this conversation is being had, everybody wants to jump to genitals. Mm-hmm. Why is everybody so obsessed with genitals when it refers to trans bodies?
Very ignorant
and uneducated. Because I know when y'all watching porn, y'all specifically probably searching a certain title so y'all can see the genitals that some of us pre-op women of trans experience have. So why are y'all that obsessed behind closed doors, and then you want to be on the other side of the fence outside of those closed doors? Because can't nobody tell you what to do when you at home, nor can anybody see it. But y'all, I feel like they pick and choose when they want to have certain type of conversation. Mm-hmm. And I am just really over that conversation. First of all, let's be very clear. You cannot even legally have certain surgeries without being a certain age.
And it blows me that adults are coming for a child.
Period. It's like Claudia wants to say, oh, I'm just concerned for her because they might be making her be this poster child, and what if she's not ready for this and ready for that? But my thing is, if she gave her parents permission and consent to talk about her story, then she gave her parents that permission and consent. She is a young girl, but she's a very wise girl. She's a very smart girl. We've seen videos, we've heard her speak before. She's not some young girl that's caught up in the clouds.
And she carries herself very well.
And people need to understand too that our transitions are not just we wake up and we want to be something else. No, it's a spiritual journey. Mm-hmm. It's a spiritual journey. And how I feel is if my spirit has always been this divine feminine spirit and she was put into this assigned male body, baby, I have no choice in that. I didn't have no choice in that. However, I'm going to make this outer shell match what this feminine spirit has been all the while. And whatever I need to do to achieve that, I will. And if I don't want to do certain things with my body, I won't. And if I want to, I will. But that's none of y'all business. First of all, none of y'all have children that are trans. None of y'all. Mm-hmm. So how do y'all feel like y'all can speak on a conversation that y'all have no experience in? All you can give is opinions that's rooted in ignorance. Like I put on my Facebook the other day, your opinion is not fact, because it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not fact. So why do y'all consistently feel like y'all can have these kind of conversations? One, about experiences y'all know nothing about, and then two, without inviting one of us to the table to have that conversation so we can provide information and education about our experiences. And though one person may not speak for us all, at least have somebody educated enough to speak on behalf of the community and properly educate somebody. But they don't want to do that. Why? Because they want to thrive in ignorance. And one thing I can at least respect about Claudia is she is at least able to now have a platform where she can invite people onto the platform to have conversations. So tonight, for example, Fox Soul will be live with a panel of women of trans experience to, I guess, give her information and education around us, our identities, and our experiences, which I can appreciate that. But a lot of times, why even have the conversation if you're not ready to be educated? Because you want to thrive in ignorance. Lil Boosie, he ignorant as hell. We already know what to expect out of
We
him.
already know
Girl,
he's
say
ignorant.
it. When it comes to the cocktail with queens, those are educated women. Those are women that have been in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Those are women that have been around various intersections of the community. Y'all know people of the community. Why not invite somebody onto it? Y'all invite Kiki Wild on there when she says something that's borderline racist or colorist. Y'all invite everybody else. Why y'all invited us onto the platform?
And I find it so disrespectful when people don't even know. There's been one situation I remember this a couple years ago. This lady that I didn't even know, she knew me from like high school. And I wasn't even close to this girl. She came up to me and she was like, "Congratulations on your transition. Do you still have your, do you still have your male part, or do you have a vagina now?" Like, how disrespectful are you?
Right. Why
Like, girl, that's
why
none
does
of
it
your
matter?
business.
Why are you in my tuck string? Why are you in my panties? Why are you in my boxers? Why are you in my undergarments, period?
Like, why do you need to know that information? That's not for you, sweetie.
It's just so interesting to me why people are obsessed with trans bodies. And when it comes around to this particular conversation, specifically Zaya Wade, because everybody has taken this opportunity to shoot their shot at this young Black child at the end of the day, because she is still very young and still at a I don't know, what do you know her age? I don't know her exact age, but it doesn't matter because she's still a kid.
It doesn't matter.
At the end,
She's
she's
a
a
child.
wise child, but she's still a child. And they are taking this opportunity to have every conversation and rhetoric that does not support or affirm her. And my thing is, what did y'all expect Dwayne and Gabrielle to do? Not affirm her, not love her, not support her. Y'all wanted them to put her out.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's what
no,
they
they
want.
did exactly the opposite, and they went and they got the information and education. Not only did they get the information and education, but they got it from people of trans experience that live, walk, and breathe every day in the shoes that we walk in.
Yeah.
And that's why I would always, not always, because things can change, but in this particular conversation, we'll always have respect for them because they chose to do something and go against the grain that is taboo in the Black community specifically.
It's so toxic.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
So another aspect that when it comes to our bodies, is friends, right? And shout out to all of our friends. We thank y'all for being affirming and loving on us and thinking we are the most beautiful thing, and you don't need this and you don't need that. But let me stop you in your tracks because this is my body and this is my experience. So if I feel like I need to do something to affirm me and my body and my identity, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
And when I just got off having a conversation, which I'll text him after this because it was very triggering. But when I say, "Oh, I'm going to have my BBL," and you give it, "Oh, I'll pay for it," which I'm sure was a joke, but I send you the invoice of how much it costs. You give, "Oh my God, it's so much. You would be better off just getting a trainer." First of all, mind your business.
Yeah.
Because this is my body and my experience, and I know what I feel like I need to do from my own experience. When they say, "Oh, you're so pretty, you don't need to do that to your face," mind your business, because this is my face. Let me do what I need to do and feel affirmed in what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had that experience with people telling you not to do something or you don't need to do this?
And I don't have anything done yet because the whole BMI issue, whatever, which I'm working on. Because when that does go down, yes, I'm getting this, that, and that fixed. I am. But yeah, there's been times where like, "Oh, you don't need that done. That's fine." Or, "Oh, no, I'm doing it for myself.
Right.
I want the inner me to show on the outside. I want to be the best me I can be."
Period. And I really wish people would stop that because as affirming that you think you are, sometimes you need to just take a back seat.
Yeah, because it's like we don't see what y'all see. We see something totally different.
Literally. Nicole, what I mean to tell you people, "Oh, Toni, you don't need this done and this done." Baby, I have been looking at this same face for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have had zero work done, but I've been looking at this face for 30 years. And if when I look in the mirror and I don't feel like this are parts of this face affirm me and who I am and what I want to do with my look, then let me do that. Because dysphoria is a real thing.
It really is.
Gender affirming surgeries and procedures are a real thing. So let me do that. So y'all need to please stop the whole, oh, you don't need to do this, you're so pretty. You don't need to do that, you're so pretty. Just stop. We hear y'all and we know that y'all have nothing but great intent.
And we thank you guys, but
this is our experience and our journey. Stop telling us what you feel like we should and shouldn't do. Because you're not me. And I'm not going to tell you what you shouldn't and shouldn't do. Hold on, let me read some comments. Girl, I am triggered to that. So, oh, your mom is on here. Hey, Miss Melissa. Hey, I'm tired of people asking me also. My child, Danielle, is my daughter. Whether she has had an operation or not is none of your business. And that's period. And that's coming from a mother of a child that is a Black woman of trans experience.
Period.
You are such an inspiration. I have a trans sister and she has such an oppressive experience. So thank you for loving your baby unapologetically, period. And shout out to Rico. Rico is so dope and super affirming. And I appreciate you, Rico. We went to middle school to high school together out in St. Louis. So every time I see him making a status or when I see him, tearing down the internalized phobias that we have within our own community, I'm just like, thank you, Rico, because at least somebody sees it and somebody else gets it that doesn't necessarily sit and walk in these shoes. I love you too, Ricky. Your mom said, period, I will go to work for my baby, the whole family. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Be that affirming that you set the standard for other people on how to treat us. Set the standard. You set the standard. And now that Dwayne and Gabrielle Wade are setting that standard, everybody always has something to say. And I used to always say this, Nicole, I pray that everybody that has ill, malicious comments and intents toward the community, I pray y'all never have a child that happens to be trans. I pray y'all never have it. Because if y'all do, they are going to go through a lot of bullshit.
They will.
They're going to go through a lot. Carolyn says, hey, Toni, thanks, Boo, for always speaking up on subjects others tiptoe around cluelessly. Period. Because you have to. I always say, you can't call me a transgender actress because I'm an actress. I just happen to be trans. You can't call me a transgender model because I'm a model. I just happen to be trans. But what you can call me is a trans activist. And I'm very intentional about that because if nobody is going to advocate for us, we have to do that. Absolutely. We have to do that. And so I'm very intentional when it comes to that because nobody else is going to do it if we don't do it. Nobody. Period. So we talked about, a society perspective and why everybody always wants to reduce us to our genitals, which is why they're always, it's time you do a trans and cis talk with your lovely sister. Oh, yes, Kim, of course. Absolutely. What was I saying, girl? I had read Kim comment and it had.
I was reading it too. I forgot what you said too.
We were talking about, so of course everybody wants to reduce us to our genitals. I don't know why. I mean, it's not, let me not play naive. I know why people are intrigued. I'm not crazy. However, can we change that perspective? Like, when you approach me, can it be about something other than what's between my legs?
Even with men.
And then the crazy part to be about it, y'all be so intrigued about what's between somebody's legs, but then act like y'all don't want to interact with it. Well, girl, why are you so curious?
Yeah, stop being curious.
You want to be curious, George. Girl, George gonna have to do some action or something. Don't be curious about things you don't want nothing to do with. Cause baby, you talking to the wrong girl. Cause you try me, I'm going to try you.
Yeah, same here.
But that's my thing. America is so obsessed with our bodies, and I get it, but at the same time, people need to be reprogrammed about how they are approaching us, how they are having conversations with us and about us. people need to realize that we need to be invited to the table whenever y'all want to have these conversations, because when you don't,
because we're out here. So
period.
it ain't hidden nowhere. We out here. We living out.
And that was my main point of wanting to create this particular platform, so people like us can have these kind of conversations. Because if they're not going to invite us to their platform, we have to create our own. We have to build our own table and invite others to our table. And that's exactly what this platform is about, because they're not doing that for us.
Yeah.
They're not doing that for us. People love to thrive in ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
I left relationships because my child came first. Work, mother. Ooh, speak on it. Period, Rico. Curious Georgette. Period. I always tell my baby to ask them why, because you want all one, because you want. Okay? Oh, baby, and let's get on the gays that are still transphobic or femophobic. Baby, let me tell you something. Let me say, the internalized homophobia that people that are gay experience or have, the internalized transphobia that people that are trans have, because believe it or not, I haven't even experienced trans folk that have internalized transphobia, like like men that are trans, for example, not knowing how to interact with me because they aren't, are for not the whole community, but men I've experienced. Let me put that disclaimer out because I don't want to generalize, but men I've experienced. Y'all have they have internalized transphobia or the hate for their own bodies or disdain or dislike for their own bodies so much that you want to come in my world and try to put that bad whatever that implication on me as if I'm supposed to hate my body. No, I don't. I don't hate it at all. And that's with or without a surgery. That's with or without sexual gender reassignment surgery. Mm-hmm. That's with or without breast implants. That's with or without getting my body done or my face done. No. If you are dealing with some internalized, if you're dealing with internalized phobia, period, but in this case, transphobia, then you need to go work on that before you come to me, because I'm going to check you every step of the way. And you're going to be so over me, but I am not going to care, because I'm always going to advocate for mine. Period.
Absolutely.
And you can't
feel no type of way about it.
Not expect to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm. So, can we speak on the Little Mama's incident?
We can.
I only heard a little bit of it.
She was just basically feeling like she wanted to create an anti-LGBT bullying organization for people that are cis heterosexual. And my thing is, girl, what?
And I don't think this is the first time of her speaking on the community either.
Well, actually, let's take it back to 2009 or 2010 when Vogue Evolution was on America's Best Dance Crew, and she told Naomi, "Let's not forget that you were born a man." And let's talk about that rhetoric, because first of all, and this is my views, I don't speak for the whole community, but manhood, womanhood, adulthood is not a birthright. You grow and you develop into that. Being biologically born female or assigned female does not give you a birthright to womanhood. Assigned male at birth does not give you the right to manhood. Because we are intersex. We are born male, female, intersex at the end of the day. Then we develop into little boys or girls. And then from there, we develop into these grown, full out people. So the fact that you would tell somebody who may not have even experienced having a manhood, because maybe that was nothing they ever developed or grew into, to remind them, don't forget you are a man. Girl, what?
So dumb.
So that was already an issue. That was already a thing back then. But see, nobody was talking about or speaking up for trans folks. Nobody was speaking up for us like we are now. So that was a comment that was made that we heard in the community. And it was kind of like we spoke on our level, but it never made it beyond our level. She did eventually come out and apologize, but then the community, specifically the ballroom community, y'all want to still have her in houses. Y'all want to give her LSSs and let her sit at balls behind panels like she's some grand girl. Girl, bye. And like I told Icon Jack, like I told Laomi, like I told Jason, as gatekeepers of this community, as icons of this community, please do not ever let that happen again, because she does not deserve to be here. You cannot antagonize and patronize a community at the same. How do you do that? How do you do that in a community that was built on the back of women of trans experience, trans femmes, gender nonconforming, drag queens, all of those things back then? How do you come into a community that was built on these people's backs and be so harsh and disrespectful?
Right. And then you have, and I was just so hurt by this because, girl, I've been watching her since middle school in New York.
Girl, that lip gloss was never popping. How about that? In the words of Jack Harry, that lip gloss was never popping.
No.
But the thing about it is women like her that don't ever, they don't come back into the spotlight until they coming back with some controversial stuff to say. When they coming back to say some bullshit, basically.
Yeah.
Girl, we ain't heard no albums. Girl, we ain't seen you in no films. We ain't seen you advocating for anything. We barely even seen you on the Shade Room, girl. And that's a reach, because I don't even really pay attention to it like that. But as soon as you wanna, I guess, re-emerge, it's on some stuff like this. So the same stuff that you have already been caught in hot water in before, a decade ago. And you're still saying stupid stuff. You want to be read. You want to be canceled.
Yeah. And then you have New York with what she said.
I'm gonna read some of these comments. Okay. Quan said, trans folk always have to stop pandering to cis folks as if we owe them something. I see a lot of trans activists switch up once they get on bigger platforms. Quan, you ain't never lied, period. And I don't understand that. Lil Who, no, she didn't. How did I miss this? Yes, Rico, if you go on YouTube and research or Google like Little Mama and Laomi or something, I'm sure it'll show you that moment. Just cringe, she didn't say that. Yep, she definitely said it. So many grown little boys out there. Grown little boys, work Mama Melissa. And that's also a level of jealousy and envy that comes from cis women. Everything Little Mama puts her name on fails child. But see, and this is my thing. I just had a panel when we were talking about, bridging the gap between women of trans experience and women who are also cis. How about that? Because I don't refer to myself as a trans woman, because I feel like when you do that, you other yourself. Oh, that's a woman and that's a trans woman. No, baby, that's a woman and that's a woman. And if you want to be specific, that's a Black woman. And you don't need to know a trans part until we have whatever other conversation we need to have. So that's why for me in my house, in my temple, it will always be Black woman or woman of trans experience. Because when you see me, you see a Black woman first. You see those two intersections of race and gender first. You don't need to know I'm trans until we get to that point. That ain't even important right now. But anywho, I like to say, so I've been on a couple panels speaking about what does sisterhood look like when it comes to women of trans experience and women who are cis, right? And I was telling them that I feel like the biggest thing that is missing is protection. We always think about protect Black women. Well, sister, my sisters, how are you protecting me, sis? What conversations are you having behind closed doors when I'm not there? How are you protecting me? How are you educating on my behalf when I'm not there? Are you contributing to language that causes violence towards my body? Are you contributing to transphobia and misogyny, which, newsflash, women who are cis, you too can experience transphobia. Because when they said Michelle and Serena look like men, baby, that's transphobia. Dear women who are cis, you too can experience transphobia. You too can contribute to language that encourages violence towards trans bodies. So what's missing in sisterhood is the lack of protection, the lack of having each other's back, the lack of saying, "Oh, girl, you're not gonna do that behind my sister's back. Let me educate you. Let me teach you." However that conversation goes. But for me, that's what is missing. That's why I can have a group of women who are cis, and we can have good, close relationships. But then on a mass scale, it's not happening because we're not protecting each other. When your husband say, "Oh, look at that man on TV," what are you saying about what? How are you having your sister's back? What are you saying to your husband when your brother say that? Why when I'm at bars and you saying, "Oh, that was she wasn't born a woman," or whatever, however uneducated rhetoric y'all like to have? How are you protecting your sister? How are you protecting her? Because when I have to fight for Black women who are trans, the first thing I'm still fighting for is Black women at the end of the day. Because our experiences a lot of times align. Biologically, I may not have the anatomy that one person or one group of my sisters were born with or assigned at birth. However, that doesn't matter when it comes to sisterhood. Nicole, say something. I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Okay, there you go. I thought you were saying something. Let me get into these comments too.
Okay.
Hey Megan, this is why I tune to these conversations because I need to know how to be the best advocate for my sisters of trans experience. And actually, let me address that real quick. So Rico, like I was just on a panel the other day, and the question was asked, how do I become a better? And this is not towards you at all, Rico, because I know you and I know what you do. So this is not towards you. This just triggered a thought. So I just want to put that disclaimer. But the woman asked me, she's like, how do I become a better ally? Well, first, let me ask you a question. What are you already doing? What are you already doing? Because I can't tell you how to become something better if you're not already doing something. How about I tell you just how to become an ally? Because if you're not doing nothing, and let me tell you also this, if you're sitting by not saying anything, thinking that allows you to be an ally because you're not in disagreement with anybody in their gender or their sexual orientation or et cetera, that is not an ally. That's you minding your own business because you don't have a disagreement. Allyship goes beyond that. Allyship is that protection, giving that information and that education when your sister is not in the room. Mm-hmm. That's allyship. So my question to anybody that ever asked me, how can I become a better ally? What are you already doing? Because then I can tell you how to do it better. But if you're not doing anything, then you need to go figure it out on how to be an ally, period. So I just wanted to just say thank you, Rico, for bringing it back. Quan, cis women are perpetuating the violence towards, I just got done talking about violent language that contributes towards violence against trans bodies, period. I would also like to say for the community to stop talking about the deaths of trans women, but talk about loving and making this world safe so they can live in it, change the narrative. Exactly. So when they do decide to talk about us, it's one or two reasons. Why? Because one of us has been murdered, let's be clear, and people in the comments want to talk about how she probably deceived somebody, or it's always about some mess, some foolishness about how somebody exposed, etc. But what about the affirmation? Like, what about the good things? What about Janet Mock signing contracts? What about T.S. Madison and her show? Are y'all publicizing that? Mm-hmm. What about the activists on this level? Are y'all giving them platforms to speak about what's going on? What are you doing? Change the narrative, for sure. I think empowering folks to advocate or stand by the level they are able. Everyone is an advocate. Exactly. And I think that's something, or activists, and I think that's something that you have to realize too. What, if you ask me that, first of all, what are you already doing? One, and is that something you're ready and prepared to do? Actually, the better rebuttal to that, is that something you're ready and prepared to do? Because everybody is not equipped and nor ready to do that. Melissa, we should be able to live our truth. Sexuality has nothing to do with it. Right, and also just to even take attention on that, another educational moment. Gender identity and sexual orientation are two different things. Mm-hmm. Who I identify as gender-wise, as a woman, as a man, or if I'm gender non-conforming because I don't identify with any of it because I'm not allowed in society to tell me how I should act and perform or express gender. period. That's gender identity. Sexual orientation is who you're sexually attracted to, who you're having sex with. And sometimes who you're having sex with doesn't even define your sexuality, because sometimes people don't want to define that. Maybe I'm just a sexual human being. How about that?
Yeah.
Because what I don't like is folks coining themselves as advocates and activists and not being able to educate and think correctly. Exactly, Maven. Exactly. Because everybody, and I say this all the time, Nicole, you know, everybody cannot speak for me.
I already know.
Everybody cannot speak for me. And I can't speak for everybody either. But I always say, if somebody finds what I'm saying to align with how they feel and believe, then maybe I can speak for you or on behalf of you, because we align in our thought process and our beliefs, our perspectives. But I can't speak for everybody, everybody can speak for me. And I always say that whenever I'm having a conversation. Quan, we also need to address the disconnect between binary and non-binary trans folks, because that's been a point of contention. Actually, Quan, I want to have a separate show about that, because even in our own community, we a lot of times aren't even willing to learn about ourselves. We aren't even willing to learn about ourselves and the many identities that come within our community. One thing I have always said about our community is we have been an inclusive community. We allow everybody to come in. We get to identify and do whatever we want to do, because that's our community. We don't live by tradition or say this has to be this way, this has to be that way, because when you do that, then you are essentially doing what cishet people try to do to all of us. They police our gender, they police our sexuality, they police everything. So we can't be doing that to each other. We have to educate one another. And I always feel like we can't go out and try to educate the masses if we don't have the education ourselves. Allyship isn't complicated. It starts with respect, period. Even if it's something you don't understand, and owning that sometimes it's not your business to understand, but rather accept and love them and move on. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So I am tired of the people having these conversations about trans folks, our bodies, what we are doing and what we're not doing with our bodies. Mind your business. And if you don't want to mind your business and you want to be all up in our business, invite us to the table to be in our business and have conversations so you can receive information and education about our experiences and what we have going on within our community. Because baby, you don't have the answers, you don't have the knowledge. You just don't. You don't. You just don't have it.
I think they do, but they don't.
Y'all think y'all do, but y'all don't have it.
Y'all want to speak on experiences that y'all don't even live. Like, no.
If you can't advocate, at least leave the conversation. Leave them standing there looking crazy. Never let them feel comfortable to doubt anyone in your presence. Education is elevation, Angelina. Period. Education is definitely elevation. Period. Point blank. Period. And we have to do better. We have to do better, because we're not going to reach sisterhood still having these same, yes, having these conversations, but having these conversations. Rico, this is such a key concept. Social media has everyone thinking they're the experts on people's experience. Baby, what I mean to tell you, social media, you know how when you feel like you're sick and you want to go Google and you see WebMD and be like, oh girl, this is symptom for this, that, and the other. Girl, this is not that and that is not this. I'm the expert of my experience. I'm the expert. Talk to the expert. Talk to the expert. I'm here because having conversations with people like you who are not experts, you're not going to get the information. You're not going to get the information. And that's just on period. Danielle, you got something to say?
Huh?
I also want trans folks to stop having conversations like, would you dare, or would you date a trans man or trans woman? I've seen that, and I'm like, That's what cis folk do to us. Why? Exactly. Even when it comes to dating, oh, I would never date a woman of trans experience. Oh, I would never date a man of trans experience. Girl, boy, them, they, bye. We don't care who you will and what you won't date. We didn't even ask you for that information. Why are you even volunteering it? How about you just go date whatever or whoever you're attracted to? We don't need to know that information. We do not need to know that information, baby. And if I find interest in you and I want to be courage or brave to hit you up, and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my preference is not such and such," I can't do nothing but respect it. But when y'all ask to be on platforms blasting, this is what y'all will and won't date, y'all look dumb.
Yeah.
And that's what get y'all deleted and blocked. Girl, just date, boy, just date them, date whoever you want to date, and let that be that. We don't always have to have grand conversations about it, because like Quan said, that's the same type of conversations that cis hetero people have. And also another thing too, because I love the community that I'm a part of, but not all trans folks, again, because there is a difference between sexuality and gender identity, understand that I identify as a Black woman of trans experience. Understand that also sexual orientation wise, I identify as heterosexual. So when people say, "Oh, the straight people," we have to stop giving them that kind too, because we stigmatize straight with just being about cis hetero people. How about we use elevated language to target the population that we're speaking about? Because just saying straight people as a person, and I don't care how you feel, because this is not your experience, it's mine. But as a person that identifies as straight, heterosexual, I don't care what you say and how it's assigned, as a person that identifies as such, when y'all say straight, girl, you talking about me. Now, when you say cis hetero, cis, I'm not cis, so you're not talking about me. But the hetero part, I identify with that. So we also have to use elevated language as well.
Yeah,
I get tired of that. I get tired of that.
Yeah, I get
tired of that conversation. When I do workshops, I tell people not to even ask what's between that person's legs when you meet them. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant the first damn day. Get to know trans folk beyond their genitals. Exactly. And I think also, Quan, to speak to that, that's also why I don't identify solely as or I don't allow myself or people identify me as a trans woman, because I am a Black woman of trans experience. Because again, when you meet me at my intersection of being a woman and being Black. And that's all you need to know. Of trans experience will come later. If you don't clock or spook in that moment, that'll come later. You don't need to worry about all of that right now. Just know that I'm a Black woman of trans experience, and that's who you're speaking to. Period.
And that's it. And Toni, I gotta leave a little early.
Oh yeah. No, we about to wrap this up. Do you got anything else to say before we wrap this up?
I do. I want to say to the people out there, stop being ignorant. And if you need knowledge on something, ask us. We are out here. We will come to your platforms. We will talk. We will give you all that education. We're all out here.
Period. Your mom said, "Excuse my ignorance. What do you mean by cis?" So, Miss Melissa, cis means you identify. It means same in a different language. So that means you identify with the sex, and gender, sex and gender you were assigned at birth. So that's all that means. Angelica, let's not forget those people who reference science as an excuse to treat transgender nonconforming. Is that what's supposed to mean? People as subhuman or less than human. Not to mention, why is the existence of trans children such an issue to people who themselves did not have trans children or do not know trans children? Right, well, exactly, that's my point. What's the obsession? You don't know people, you don't have no child, no nothing. Why are you so obsessed? In the words of Mariah Carey, why are you so obsessed with me? Because I look like this.
That's what it is.
Oh, okay. But I'm gonna need you to stop. Because every time I'm going to check you. I'm going to check you at the front door. So be ready. Be ready. No, you're welcome, Miss Melissa. What else did I have to say before I left? Well, I guess so, y'all. This has been Trans Table Talk episode 11 with my good girlfriend, actress Nicole Sky. We talked about today why is America so obsessed with trans bodies, and we broke it down for different experiences. Zaya Wade, if you're listening, my young black sis, keep your head up and keep doing you. And even though these people are out here trying to continuously reduce you to your genitals, though you have never spoken, nor have your parents spoken about genitals, keep doing you. They'll be ignorant until they get educated, and that's on them. That's not on you. Keep your head up, sis. To all of my sisters and sisterhood, learn how to protect your black sister and what that looks like. Learn how to protect us. That's what's missing in sisterhood. Let's learn how to protect each other. I definitely want to join and talk one day. Okay, Quan, we can definitely talk. Hey, Aaron. And lastly, when you want to have a conversation about people of trans experience, invite those people to the table to have that conversation. Stop having that conversation with yourself and people like you, because you won't leave with the information or education that you need. Okay? You're gonna leave in that same ignorance that you came with. And that's not cute, sis, or sir, or they, or them. Okay, completely destroying children deemed different has been normalized. People can't fathom two black parents, especially a black man, loving a child of trans experience unapologetically. Trauma should be our legacy. Baby, hello, keep going and keep on educating. Thank you. Exactly. And stop allowing white trans folks to say, oh, I gotta end this, but I just want to say this too. Dear my white trans family, the first words I said was white, so you still have a certain level of privilege in that. And I was just literally having a conversation with a white person of trans experience about their privilege that they didn't see, and then they proved themselves and gave themselves an example in the conversation of what that privilege looks like. So don't think that because what, or RuPaul is, and then allow somebody trans on a platform, child, always changing the game and revolutionizing, that's cute. But outside of that drag, that is a white man of trans experience. Let's be very clear. That comes with privilege, even aside from or with the trans experience. Let's be very clear. But we won't, that's another conversation. However, love all of y'all down. But this is not that, and that is not this. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Nicole. If y'all
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me again.
We just wanted to get on and have this girl chat and talk real quick. Hopefully y'all came and y'all learned something. Hopefully y'all can pass it on. Share this video in y'all groups amongst your friends. And I'm available. Nicole is available. Nicole, give me your contact information, because y'all start bringing us on your platforms when y'all want to have these conversations. So go ahead, Nicole.
Absolutely. You can, Facebook obviously is Danielle Nicole Sky, or you can go on Instagram and it's at the Nicole_Sky. So that's it. That's basically
And I'm Toni Bryce everywhere. If you want to inquire about having me on your platform, you can DM me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can email me at Toni, Toni, Bryce, BRYCE, and I'll be there. Again, this has been another episode of Trans Table Talk, sponsored by NASM Incorporated. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you on the next Trans Table Talk. And continue to share. Thank y'all so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Nicole. I will talk to you later, sis.
All right, bye.
All right.